going, guys? You're watching Gamer Logic, and today I wanted to follow up on a promise I made at the beginning of the year. And that promise was that at the mid-year mark I was going to go ahead and do another game room tour, another arcade room tour, stuff like that. And it's already September, so I'm kind of past that mark, and I finally have some free time to do it, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And this time I wanted to show you some of my modern systems as well, and where I play them and everything. It's just something I never really touched on, and people always ask, you know, do you play PS3, do you play Wii or Xbox 360, stuff like that. So I want to go ahead and add that into the mix, as well as the retro room up here and my arcade stuff in the basement. So potentially this may be a very long video. So in the case that I'm able to upload it in its entirety, what I will do is I will put bookmarks to each room. So if you want to jump to a certain room you're interested in, you can do that. If it ends up that the video is too long for YouTube and I have to split it up in a couple parts, then I'll mark each room as whatever it needs to be. But we're going to go ahead and start in the, I guess what you can call the retro room here, and go through all the additions and all the stuff I have up here, and then, well, we'll come up with whatever we come up with next. So here we go. Let's check out the retro room, which is upstairs at the top of my house. Alright, so here we go. This is the retro room, which is greeted by a Metal Gear Solid Peace Walker bandana. And this is kind of what you see when you first walk into the room. Just give you a little pan around the room here to show you everything that we got. And you know, I always start with this side of the room, so why don't we go reverse this time and kind of talk about the setup here, which is the computer. I'm just running an old crappy Dell, nothing too amazing, but running two monitors here. Right now I got my game collector software open. Right now I think I'm at what is it, 2,088 games. Poison here keeps tabs on the collection, but kind of nice program, pretty cool there. And I got miscellaneous crap, these crappy speakers that I use, as well as a few collectibles. Still got my little Galaga Christmas ornament that my friends gave me. The Hanzo art corner is still looking cool, quite awesome. And we come over here, and there's lots of miscellaneous stuff here. Extra piece I won from the Final Fight press kit from Capcom for doing that Poison video a while ago, Final Fight Double Impact. And this kind of over here is essentially my cartridge area, or where I try to keep the majority of my video game cartridges. I've got N64 games, of course, in here, and all the, for the most part, really crappy SNES games in here. Rise of the Robots and stuff is in there. But down here is pretty much where I try to keep most of my cartridge stuff, if it can fit. And as you can see, it's pretty full. What I did most recently, here's just an example of some of my Super Nintendo games. This actually goes back, it's 3 rows, and it goes back another 3-tier rows. So you got a row in front, row in the middle, and a row in the back. And then kind of on the right here, I decided that I didn't want to keep the games that I actually had the boxes and instructions for loose, so I put them in the boxes. So here we got a variety of different complete box games, Super Valus 4, Final Fantasy Mystic Quest, Lufia's back there, Illusion of Gaia, Zelda, stuff like that. But those are my complete games. I try to keep most of them in the same place, but I have a lot of box games too, so I don't have a spot for all of them. Similar deal here with my NES games. Good, decent sized collection of NES. I think I got about 221 NES titles, I want to say. And this shelf is 3 stacks of NES games tall, and it's got a another triple stack in the back here. Lots of classics here, lots of good stuff. It's really quite a good collection. Some of my favorites: River City Ransom, Battletoads, even though the game pisses me off to no end. Life Force, Vice Project Doom, Kabuki, Quantum Fighter, great games. Ninja Gaiden 2, Dragon Warriors, of course the Zeldas, and there's just tons more back there. And down here is, well, to be honest with you, it's kind of a mess. Miscellaneous stuff, Nintendo 64 stuff, Sega Genesis stuff. Down here is Famicom Disk System, as well as just regular Famicom games, a Super Game Boy on the top, more Genesis stuff, some Jaguar stuff that goes like 3 shelves deep. It's kind of funny, I didn't think I had that many Jaguar games. And then back here is another kind of a 3-story stack here, and that is all my Super Famicom games. So lots of cartridge games here, but I can't fit everything. Down here is kind of the binder full of games without covers, or games that are bootlegs or whatever, CDR copies. Those I don't keep in my game collection database just because, well, that's not the real thing. Over here is my first system tier, and there's a variety of systems on this. Starting with the bottom, we have a Super Nintendo with a SNES Power Pack flash card in there. Love that thing. Jungle Green N64 with the EverDrive 64. Still waiting to do a proper review on that. Still playing it. Been playing it off and on the last 2 months. I think you guys remember I probably previewed this, geez, probably about 2 months ago actually. And it's working great. No problems with it yet, but I just kind of want to take my time with it and see what I run into compatibility-wise before I go for a full review. Next up, we have the Atari Jaguar, which, you know, I play every so often, not a lot. A couple people asked me if I was ever going to pick up the CD attachment for it to turn it into the Jaguar toilet, and I'm just not interested. I'm not going to pay 200 bucks for a CD-ROM that only supports, you know, what, 5 or 6 games? PCFX, God, I think I've probably turned this thing on like 4 or 5 times and maybe played a couple of games a few times. It's just, it's a unique system, you know, and I don't want to be mean, but it's, for me at least, it's hard to enjoy. I really haven't found those niche games that I really enjoy. I'm glad I have one, but definitely not a system I play a lot. The good old PS1 Mini with a couple of memory cards next to it. It's actually modded, it can play CDRs, which is nice. My gaming switch box here that connects most of the systems together. My Commodore 64C, which I really enjoy. Works pretty good. I play this every so often. Actually have a, let's see if we can see it. No, we really can't without causing disaster. I actually have a device here that attaches through the serial port, through a computer, through USB conversion to serial, and lets you load up all the games without the disk drive, which is pretty sweet. One of these days I gotta fire that up. Top shelf. Couple different systems here. Neo Geo CD on the top. Love that thing. And we have the Panasonic 3DO, which has a couple good games with it. The Saturn. What a powerhouse this thing is, though we really got screwed American release-wise for this thing. Japanese releases just topped this thing off. And of course, the good old Dreamcast. And we get up to the kiosk, of course, and if I'm breathing really heavy, I'm sorry. It's allergy season for me, and as much as I try to take allergy drugs, it just doesn't work for me, so I'm really kind of struggling to talk right now. So if I sound congested or breathing really heavy, it's just because I'm kind of out of breath from these freaking allergies. It's been really messing with my sleep and stuff. So I'm over here. We have the Saturn kiosk, and I've talked about this many times. I got this for free. Very cool. It's got everything original with it. The Saturn in there was original. I got the actual Saturn boxed up. Inside is a twin Famicom there. But God, I love this thing. Works great. Definitely a centerpiece of the room. Over in this corner of the room, we got a decent amount of stuff. We got more systems, which I'll come back to in a second. We have all my miscellaneous figures from a lot of the different Capcom games. Halo poster, some Darkstalker stuff, a signed Eric Vedder Street Fighter tribute print, as well as some more Capcom collection figures. That's some more stuff I'll talk about there shortly, but let's get over to the systems. We'll start with the top, and this is a Neo Geo AES that I got over at the Midwest Gaming Classic. It basically had the shit kicked out of it. Had a completely different case and everything. The reset button didn't work. It needed a lot of cleaning up, and I believe it was, this would have been back in March already that I talked about this, but Freddie, who unfortunately had his YouTube channel hacked, I'll put a link to his video description. It's unfortunate he got hacked. He had to start a brand new YouTube page, which is awful, really awful. But he actually traded me a Neo Geo case because he had a Neo Geo that wasn't working, and I was able to restore this thing completely, so it's very nice looking. Very cool to have it in the collection. My mixer for all my different sound sources coming in, as well as my other switch box, which is for just regular component, or composite actually. Down here, Sega 32X, Sega Genesis, JVC-XI. That's a Genesis flash card in there, the Genesis EverDrive. Like it, just haven't used it too much. Down here we have a Famicom with Famicom Disk System. Love that very much. My Turbo Duo, love that thing. That's another flash card I got for it here. Works great. And I think this is a CD copy of Dracula X, even though I have an official copy. Down here we got two NESs. One's got a 4-score attached to it. NES Satellite, I should say. As well as an Atari 7800 that's got the Harmony card in it. And one of these has the, probably the bottom one, the NES Power Pack. And we get over here, and I already talked about these ladies here. This is where I keep most of my Xbox stuff now. Actually used to have PS2 stuff in here, but this is kind of turned into the Xbox shelf. And I have a little bit of room left on the right hand side there to make things meet, but slowly run out of room. So eventually I'm going to have to get another shelf, which means this stuff over here is going to have to go away. But all sorts of decent titles. The Assassin's Creed, of course, Call of Duty, Condemned, Dead Space, Dead or Alive, Dragon Age, Gears of War, of course a bazillion Halo games, Mass Effect, Medal of Honor, Splinter Cell. Start getting to the original Xbox, Deus Ex, which I just completed, L.A. Noire, great stuff. And some great original Xbox titles as well. This is kind of the giant size shelf that I have for pretty much all my disc-based games, though the top of it is kind of turned into another spot for oversized cartridges and stuff. And there's a lot of games on here. We'll start with the top here, and this is the Famicom, a couple box Famicom games here. Just to kind of show you, got Kid Dracula, great game, Metal Storm, Crisis Force, and one of my favorites that I wish would have came over here, Sweet Home. Some more box stuff, and that starts with Super Famicom, Front Mission, Super Metroid, Dracula, XX, Super Street Fighter 2, Front Mission Gun Hazard, Clock Tower, great game. Got my box PCFX titles, Vector Man on the top there, my Neo Geo AES. Should I call that Neo Geo the MVS before? I meant AES, oh well. Anyway, Neo Geo stuff. I kind of go down here and we go into the Genesis / Sega Master System area. I really got to get these joined up properly. .32X games. My EverDrive. If you've never played this, I picked up a really decent copy of this. This is a great game for N64. Sin and Punishment. Too bad it never came over here. Sequel came out on Wii. But yeah, it's great. Very awesome. We start with the PS2 stuff over here. When we started getting down to a little bit of miscellaneous stuff, I got some Sega CD stuff here. I got some miscellaneous imports. Let's see what we got here. Street Fighter collection, which I forgot I had. I was actually looking on eBay for that a couple days ago. Street Fighter 2, the interactive movie. Decent game there. Capcom versus SNK. What else we got in terms of imports here? Oh, Police Knots, great game. Street Fighter Zero, or Street Fighter Alpha. These are in imports. All sorts of stuff though. 3DO, TURBOGRAFX-CD, PC Engine, Turbo Duo, Neo Geo CD. A lot of different import Saturn stuff. Decent amount of Dreamcast stuff. Of course, we get to the PS2 stuff. On these last two shelves here is just kind of my double disc games and RPGs and stuff like that. I almost bought Fear Effect 2 and I just looked and see that it's down there. So that's kind of the gaming wing there, and we get to this part and we see the kind of the statue or video game related toy wing, and let's see if we can turn Ryu on here. Much better. Still one of my favorite figures. A lot of my miscellaneous kid robot Street Fighter figures. I don't actively collect these anymore after I got my second pack because I got so many doubles. It was a pain in the ass though. I've traded most of them. Let's open this up. And Eris is about to die again. Don't die on us just yet, Eris. Stay there. Or Aerith. This is kind of like miscellaneous Square stuff. I got the really cool Chrono Trigger Square Enix figures there. Miscellaneous Final Fantasy 7 and 8 stuff. Cloud on his bike, which is awesome. Down here is more like Play Arts Kai stuff. Of course, we got that awesome Snake figure. Some Street Fighter stuff, miscellaneous Street Fighter stuff. Devil May Cry. And a few other things. Down here, more miscellaneous stuff. Street Fighter, Gears of War, Castlevania, Resident Evil, Street Fighter. Down here, which looks like it's kind of falling apart a little bit, is the Halo wing. I guess I gotta clean this up a little bit. Wonder if Cortana still works here. She still works. Should probably replace the battery in her. Well, that's kind of the figure line. I've never really shown what's in this closet, so I guess we'll open her up. This is where I mostly keep my handheld games and stuff like that, as well as the boxes to any of my collectible toys and stuff like that, and figures, as well as a few system boxes and stuff. All sorts of Atari and Intellivision boxes here. There's some more miscellaneous Super Nintendo stuff and Nintendo stuff. There's some sealed NES games back there. Clash of Demon Head, Flex Xanadu. That one's open actually. Golgo 13, that's sealed. And some more handhelds down there. There's a Lynx and stuff, as well as a 3DO. Looks like a Game Genie. These are all my manuals and stuff I have for miscellaneous games that don't have boxes, and other miscellaneous stuff. Down there is kind of a pile of handheld games I have. I gotta get those organized better. And if we go over here, more miscellaneous toys, Dead or Alive, stuff like that. And this is kind of the bookshelf, the gaming bookshelf as well. This has got some games on it too, but it's got a lot of my art books and stuff like that. This is where I put all my Udon stuff, Halo Encyclopedia, Gungrave, and then of course we got, like I said, all the Udon stuff, Street Fighter Ultimate. There are the Street Fighter, a lot of the Mega Man stuff, pretty much all the Capcom comics, stuff like that. Right down here, got more miscellaneous video game books. And down here's kind of a long box collection stuff, as well as some miscellaneous N64, the Panzer Dragoon sagas over there. And we got Sega CD, Saturn, and long box PlayStation. And over here is just kind of a pile of controllers. So yeah, this is the retro gaming room, and next I guess we will do the modern stuff, so stand by. Alright, so this is a look at kind of my modern stuff here. And I do need to do a little dusting, it looks like, so pardon the mess. But what you're looking at here is a Sony 47-inch LCD TV. And this is where I do the majority of my modern gaming, which is, it's decent. It's got a decent surround sound system. It's got the Kinect, which looks promising and now is never played. And yeah. Get a little closer to the actual components and stuff. Of course, we got the slim Xbox 360. Love that thing. The built-in wireless N. Wireless N is pretty much the only Wi-Fi I'll use for gaming stuff, though I still prefer the actual wired connection. Got a Wii that I haven't fired up in forever. What's this? Moby Move. Must have been testing the sound system on stuff. A PlayStation 3 that actually has the backwards compatibility. This is one of the two PlayStation 3s I have. This actually does all the backwards compatibility for PlayStation 1 and PlayStation 2, which is a big thing for me, so I don't have to have a PS2 down here anymore. I can play everything off of this. A modded Xbox. This is my Comcast cable box there. And this is my HK surround sound system, which I love. Very programmable, very nice. Love this thing. Sounds fantastic. Really don't have room to do the rear mounted stands. Just kind of get in the way of stuff, so I just kind of have all these speakers, the front and rear, on top of this here. And then of course we got our left and right channel along with the center channel hooked up there. And it's a nice little TV. I like it. Occasionally I have to sit a little closer to the middle of the room just because it's not big, but it works and looks nice. My wife bought this on a day after Thanksgiving special because she was trying to get me to come down here more rather than play games on the 32-inch upstairs, and this was kind of her way of doing it. That thing there, that is the subwoofer to the HK. It was hilarious when this was given to me. I got handed this and I was like, what the hell, is this the amplifier? And they were like, no. This is a subwoofer, so pretty crazy there. And as far as where I keep all my modern games, with the exception of the Xbox 360 games up here, this is our exercise room. And in the corner here, I actually have a little cabinet. On the top here, you can see kind of where I have all my joysticks and stuff. My Tatsunoko vs. Capcom joystick, Dead or Alive 4, Tekken 6, and on the back there is my Street Fighter stick. Over here we have miscellaneous Blu-rays. Really into watching anime on Blu-ray. It just looks incredible, and the fact that you can do 26 episodes usually on just 3 DVDs is awesome. One of these days I'll do a DVD Blu-ray anime deal video, who knows. And here is where I actually keep the majority of my portable games, newer systems, and like PS3. So yes, I do have PS3 games. Some of my favorites here. Heavy Rain, absolutely love that game. The Yakuzas, those are awesome. Resistance is alright. SmackDown vs. Raw, that version really wasn't too good on the PlayStation. The Darkness was a great game. Dark Sector, Bioshock. Operation Flashpoint I really enjoyed. Heavenly Sword, one of my favorite PS3 games. God of War Collection, Turok, God of War 3, Final Fantasy EU, Demon's Souls, goddamn game. Def Jam Icon, disappointing. Uncharted and Uncharted 2, easily one of the best reasons to own a PS3. Soul Calibur 4, 3D Game Heroes, another great game. Metal Gear Solid 4, which of course is great. My PSP games. Silent Hill, The Third Birthday, Valkyrie Profile, the East games. All of those are great. Down here, it looks like we have some miscellaneous PlayStation 3 games that didn't get proper cases. I think I got those at Game Crazy. And we got some Wii, some GameCube, as well as 3DS and DS. And down here is miscellaneous game components, Xbox 360 controller, add-ons for the Wii, stuff like that. And this is just more anime, exercise DVDs and stuff like that. So it's kind of a look at my modern gaming rig. I keep it kind of low-key because, you know, my wife puts up with an arcade downstairs and she puts up with the rest of the stuff. So I try to not to overwhelm the entire house with all this stuff. But this is my modern gaming rig and I enjoy it quite a lot. Down to the arcade next. Alright, so this is the arcade down here basically, and I usually don't have this bright of lights on, but I kind of wanted to show all the details and stuff of the machine, so there's a little bit more light on in here than usual, but this is going to get kind of loud, so if you can't hear me, I apologize, but most of you have already heard this stuff before, so I guess we'll start with the Donkey Kong machine here. This is a Donkey Kong Jr., even though I got Donkey Kong running on it. I just prefer Donkey Kong, so it's running on that. It's actually a two-player cabinet. If you look over on the side here, of course, it's got the other joystick, but unless I'm having people over, not too many people play on the Donkey Kong, so I typically just have it pushed back into the wall here so I can play it on a need-to-play basis, and I can pull it out for two-player when need be. So, works great. I had monitor issues with it earlier in the year. Had the monitor capped, and now it's working great. So look at my Street Fighter 2 back glass for the pinball machine. Kind of cool. So look at that. Chun-Li or Janet Jackson. This is my very storied Namco cabinet that I thought I was going to have to get rid of, and thankfully we didn't need to. And you guys know I'm not a fan of Tekken. You know, I played the crap out of Tekken 3 when it came out, but just not a big fan of it. So I went ahead and kept the marquees and stuff like that for Tekken, but I went ahead and kind of put together my own kit for Street Fighter 3 here, and I was able to get a lot of these overlays over at Arcade Graphics here. And so of course, remove this. Longer version of it. It's on the top. And this is my custom-sized Street Fighter 3 Third Strike marquee that I made. Of course, Capcom put out the artwork for a contest for this, and I went ahead and downloaded all the pieces of the artwork. And I took Ken, and I took Chun-Li here, and threw them together, put them on the Third Strike logo, and this turned out pretty nice, so that's my custom marquee for it. Otherwise, there's no real marquee Street Fighter-wise that fits for this, so wanted to keep with the theme to work nicely. Of course, it's obviously a Namco cabinet because this says powered by Namco, but I don't want to change that because I do want to try to keep this as close to the original cabinet as possible. This thing does have two speakers in it. It has stereo speakers in it for games that support it. For example, Tekken Tag and Soul Calibur. Got the harness on there to use both speakers, but otherwise CPS2 games and CPS3 games, they have RCAs out on them, and I went ahead and added stereo speakers on the bottom sides of the cabinet here, which is pretty nice, and that's what this wire coming out is. I actually got to take that and wire that into the back of the cabinet, but I'll get to that eventually, but this does have proper stereo sound, which is nice, so pretty cool there. This thing is still working great. Fixed some monitor issues with it, so now there's a lot less burn-in with it. And right now this is a 13-in-1 CPS, 1 in 13, 1 in 14 or whatever. And it works great. I had no issues with boards and stuff loading up with it. Of course I have all my original Street Fighter boards and stuff, but I figured it's just kind of nice to switch around, and since it works so great, why not? A lot of good games on there. Still gonna work on replacing this and this odd colored button. And otherwise, the cabinet's pretty good. I did actually add the official, well, this might be hard to see, the official side art to the Street Fighter 2 before I had the marquees on the top here, and someone told me that it kind of just looked like a afterthought, so I decided to get rid of it and put the actual side art on there. Came out pretty nice. Jukebox is still working great. Always fun when people come over to play in the game room. They have a blast with it. Working great. Got to get the LEDs lit up on that, but otherwise working good, playing great. Got a little massive attack going on there right now, which is nice. God, I love this game room sign, but damn is it bright. I don't think I showed you guys this. I might have, maybe not, but this is my Street Fighter 3rd Strike Online Edition that's autographed by the artist who did the new artwork for it. Pretty cool. And over here is my Street Fighter X Tekken, or Street Fighter Cross Tekken, rather, signed by the producers of the game, which is pretty cool. Devil May Cry slot machine. Just cleaned out the slot holders on it, the coin hopper on it. Working great. Main cabinet, also running 3rd Strike. And normally this is actually running 3rd Strike. I have New Generation, 2nd Impact, and 3rd Strike. But 3rd Strike, I did not have a date on when the battery got replaced, so I just sent that out to get replaced. So right now this is running 2nd Impact, which is alright. 3rd Strike running on here. Definitely doesn't play the same as the real thing, but it'll work for now until I get my 3rd Strike security card back. This is also playing Street Fighter 4, working great. Black Pyramid Pinball, working awesome still. No issues with that. Swinger's looking good, except for an issue with the flipper. And Space Duel is running great. Just gotta get a better speaker for it, because right now the speaker kind of sucks. And that's it for now, guys. Hope you enjoy the tour of all 3 of my game rooms. Peace.